Okay guys, today we're going to do it. We're going to talk about sex. And please don't demonetize me, YouTube. I'm just trying to share some knowledge. On July 5th, 2019, over 1 year ago, I released this video, the Kriya for converting semen into Ojas. And since then, it's become the second most popular video on the channel. Today, it has over 33,000 views, more than 1.4 thousand likes, and more than 300 comments. This single video has inspired more questions than any other video on the channel. So today I wanted to take a moment to go over some of the most common topics that are coming up, the most common questions, and try to answer them. So in this video, I'm going to be going over the most frequently asked questions regarding sexual continence, semen retention, or otherwise known as NoFap. We're going to talk about why it is that yogis retain their semen, how we can control the urges to release it, different yogic techniques that we can use to move the energy and ultimately help us to control these urges, how often or what time of day we should use these practices. We're also going to talk about what's called nightfall or nocturnal emissions, because this is a big question I get and I want to clarify some things. The difference between these accidental emissions and ones that are intentional. And we'll also talk about the side effects, different things that happen as we use these practices to purify our body and as we start to build up this energy. Lastly, we'll talk about the long-term effects of retention, because I know a lot of you are worried if you don't use it, you'll lose it kind of thing. I'll also mention what is Ojas and these practices, the benefits of them for women as well, because even though you don't have semen, you can still benefit from the same yogic practices that us men are doing. And we'll finish up with my recommendations for anyone who wants to go down this journey. Okay, if that sounds interesting, keep watching. Let's get into it. So first things first, why is it that yogis choose to retain their semen? And it's not actually just yogis. This idea of conserving the energy is actually common among many spiritual disciplines in the form of celibacy, abstinence, avoiding sex altogether, or only having sex with one person that you're married to. In yoga, it's called brahmacharya. And personally, I follow yoga because it's not as damning. Essentially, we're just saying that you should be in control of your energy. So the biggest reason, or the main reasons why one would choose to hold their semen is because there's a lot of energy there. The semen is the potential to create a life. You know, the amount of energy that the body consumes to create the semen is massive. And when we're constantly releasing this, the body's constantly needing to create more semen. I've said semen too many times, I'm going to get demonetized. So on the physical level, it takes a lot of energy to create semen. In Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, they talk about different tissues and how the food that we eat gets converted into different organs and different tissues, and the most essential one is the semen. It's said that it takes anywhere from 40 to 100 drops of blood to create 1 drop of semen. And you know, when you emit, it's not just 1 drop. So it's a big process to organize and put all of this energy together to create this vital life force. And any man who's ever ejaculated in their life knows this. As soon as you release it, your energy drops. It might be for 30 seconds, it might be for 3 days. And we can really feel this state of low energy, at least for some time, until it recharges. Beyond just the physical of conserving our energy, which is what as yogis, you know, we're aspiring to do, is to, especially as Kundalini yogis, we're always working to build the energy. So just holding this helps us to build that energy. Beyond the physical, there's all the psychological aspects of semen retention. I'm sure most men can understand that we have a lot of lust, a lot of desire. And actually, the more that we're spilling it, the more that lust and desire becomes a craving and can become an addiction. So learning to control this most primal desire can have a snowballing effect of us learning to control many other aspects of our life. When we can get in control of our own sexual energy, we can get in control of almost every other impulse. So this is a big aspect of what it is in a lot of the religious traditions is the idea was if we didn't control our sexual energy, we would just become raving maniac hedonists and give into every desire, every impulse. It's not the case. You know, we can enjoy our sexuality and not become raging addicts. But I suppose that was the worry of the church or the religion. Honestly, I don't follow too much of that. This is why I like yoga, because it's just a recommendation. There's no one from above going to damn you or going to condemn you or going to say you're a horrible, bad person for using your sexual energy or losing your sexual energy. No, you should enjoy it. I personally believe you should enjoy it. But you can see for yourself, when you release it consistently, regularly, you become very low energy. You become emotionally weak, more sensitive, less centered. Again, on the physical level, as we start to retain our testosterone as well, which makes us more stable, more assertive, more masculine. So a lot of people that are very into fitness, sport, going to the gym, they really see the benefit of retaining the semen because it makes them more driven. Many athletes have a rule that they will not release before a big game because they know that it'll make them more weak. So let's move on and talk about how to control the urges, because this is one I get a lot of the time. I say, why, from this video, will this help me with my urges? Will this help me with my urges? Yes, to a degree, but there's a lot of factors that are coming into why do you have these urges to ejaculate. First one is sometimes we're just bored. We're bored or any other degree of suffering where we're not happy with the life. So if you find that you're constantly releasing, take a moment to look, are you depressed? Are you dissatisfied with some part of your life, or is there some resistance? Because this can be a big factor. When we emit and we go into this low state, this low vibration, this low energy, it's very numbing, actually. So if we feel any kind of negative emotions inside, it's very easy to just release and then feel kind of nothing, or feel like a brief satisfaction. So that's one big aspect. But in terms of controlling these urges, the most important thing, I'm going to talk about some yoga techniques to move the energy after this, but the most important thing is to use your energy. Especially when we make this choice to conserve it, we start to get so much more energy, and we need to use it. Otherwise, we start to go crazy. So the most important thing is to use this energy, hopefully in a productive way. Best thing is do something creative. Study, learn, engage your mind, learn to play a musical instrument, learn another language, study philosophy, or even just do something physical, whether it be sport, physical activity, hard work, something to give you a sense of accomplishment, moving the energy into the upper chakras. So it can be something working with willpower. It can be some sort of service, a karma yoga, something from the heart. It can be studying science or religion or anything to use this energy in a productive way. Something that will bring us into a higher vibration will make it a lot easier to control these urges. Because if you have a certain lifestyle and then all of a sudden you give yourself 10 times more energy, but you continue to live that same lifestyle, it's not going to work. And you're going to crave to release this excess energy to go back to the way that you're used to living. So the most important thing is to get busy. Do something with this extra energy. Make use of it. And find satisfaction in the life. This is another thing that will happen, is if you're dissatisfied and you're feeling angry or depressed or anything, if you start to do something productive, like studying, like reading, like creating, being artistic, these will start to bring a sense of satisfaction. And all of this together will make it more easy. You'll want to keep your energy then. You won't want to spill it because you think, I can use it for this and that and that. But if you're just sitting there not using it for anything, you think, why I have this extra energy? So very important, use it. Use this extra energy that you're going to build. I wanted to take a moment to point out that this video will most likely get demonetized because YouTube doesn't like when you talk about sex. That's the way it is. But if you find value in this content and you appreciate this type of teaching, make sure that you click like on the video. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, because these things really help us out. If you really enjoy the content you're releasing and you want to support us, you can join our membership either by clicking the join button below or visiting us on Patreon. All these little things really help us out to continue sharing this content with you, to continue to grow. And even just clicking like, if you can't support any other way, just clicking like can get these videos shown to someone else. So the small gesture of clicking like or subscribing to the channel means that another person has the opportunity to benefit from these teachings. Thank you so much, guys. Let's get back to the talk. We talk about different yogic techniques now for moving the energy. The video that I released already, the Kriya for converting semen into Ojas, is one way, and this is known as a sublimation technique. The idea is moving energy from the lower chakras to the higher centers, moving energy away from the genital area and up. And there's different practices. The best one that I recommend to everyone who asks me on this semen to Ojas video is Uddiyana Bandha, especially at the beginning. It's a little more gross. It's really easy to feel this movement of energy compared to some other sublimation techniques. I did a whole 10-day process called the 10-day challenge to raise your vibration. I'll leave a link here. Amazing process. And if you're new to working with this energy, or if you've been working it for a while but you're still struggling, I highly recommend you to try this 10-day challenge of Uddiyana Bandha, because it'll really give you an idea of how to move this energy. Other techniques involve any yogic practice, especially any Kundalini practice, working to understand your energy, working to move it. Meditation is going to be your best friend, because meditation will give you the awareness of when this energy is building too much and it's time to do something. Don't just sit until you go over that point of no return, because even psychologically we can hit a point of no return. It's like, oh, okay, I need to get rid of it. You know, I'm going to give in to this desire. Meditation will help you to realize before you get to that point, okay? And maybe catch yourself before you do something like turn on the phone and do something silly. Anyway, Uddiyana Bandha, meditation are the most powerful ones until you develop more mental capacities where you can move your energy. Let's talk about the frequency of practice or the time of day. Now, when we do these sort of sublimation techniques, they can be done on their own. Okay, and if that's your only concern is to contain your energy and move it, you can do this at any time. If you have another yogic practice, the sublimation techniques are best done after your asana and pranayama and just before meditation. So usually in a sort of Kundalini practice, we'll work to open the energy channels, open the chakras, maybe expand through pranayama. Then we'll do a sublimation to lift the energy up just before we sit in meditation. This is where you really get the benefits of moving the energy, is when you use it to enhance your awareness. Okay? You'll notice if you do the Raise Your Vibration Challenge, we always do this Uddiyana Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and then we do a meditation, because we really want to get the benefits of this. We just move the energy, but you don't take a moment to appreciate it. It's more easy for the energy to drop back down. Regarding the time of day, with any spiritual practice, the most powerful times are first thing in the morning and last thing before you go to bed, or sunrise and sunset. Any of these times is the most powerful, because we're talking specifically with this moving the sexual energy in this case. These times, as well as any time that you've just been engaging in sexual energy and you feel like it's too built up, whether you've been intimate with yourself or another person, or you've been, having too many fantastic thoughts throughout the day, this would be a good time to move this energy, to distribute it through the body and feel some sense of expansion. And this is important. And this is where I feel that yoga and tantra really excel when compared to other religions that are just saying, abstinence, celibacy, because you're going to get energy there. You're going to get these urges, you're going to get these desires, and if you don't move that energy, you're going to get lost in imagination, in fantasy and thought. And that can become overwhelming, and at the farthest degree, it can lead to perversions and disturbed minds and all of these things. When Svadhisthana, the sexual chakra, gets too much energy, it can lead to quite a disturbed mind. And actually, I think this is the reason why you see a lot of this disturbed accusations within the church and all this. I'm not going to talk about that, but this is why it's very important that we move this energy. because we want to become holistic. We don't want to become focused on one thing, or we also don't want to negate anything. You know, a lot of these ideas are negating the sexual energy, that it's not our friend, that it's the demon, that it's the devil. It's a beautiful thing. It's the most beautiful energy you've been gifted. All of life is inspired by the sexual energy. You were birthed from the sexual energy. The cosmos were created by this sexual play, this dance between the masculine and the feminine, Shiva and Shakti. So we should not be repulsed or ashamed or averted to this energy in any way. It's beautiful. But we should also not be controlled by it. Okay, make friends with it. Allow this energy to move. And this is going to go perfectly into what a lot of people are asking me about, which is nightfall. What I know as nocturnal emission. This is when you ejaculate while sleeping, either due to a wet dream or due to it just happening. A lot of you seem quite stressed out about this, quite worried about this. And I want to tell you, the number one thing is do not worry about this. It's not a big problem, and it's a very natural part of this process of starting to retain your semen. At a certain point, it's going to build to the maximum and it's going to release, you know, and don't be worried about that. You're not going to really lose so much energy as you would if you're doing it intentionally. And I promise you, it's a big difference between this kind of accidental release and this intentional release. So if this happens, if you have a nocturnal emission, first one, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's somehow, think of it as a good sign because it means that you're getting there. What I like to think of as a metaphor is if you wake up in the morning and you take a deep breath, you know, your lungs will expand to a certain capacity, but they're cold. They haven't been stretched yet. So you need to exhale. And the next deep breath, you'll take in slightly more air and you need to exhale. You can think of this nocturnal emission like this. You've reached a capacity. Your subconscious has said, this is enough. This is as much as I can take. I need to release. So give thanks for that. It's different when it's the subconscious doing it and it's not the conscious mind intentionally doing it. So don't worry about the nocturnal emission. And if it is something you really want to get control over, this is where meditation becomes your best friend. Practice meditation, practice something like a yoga nidra, and this will help you to develop awareness even when you're sleeping. Then if you go into one of these wet dreams, sexy dreams, you can have the awareness to maybe enjoy it, but to not allow it to go past that point of no return. And if it does, again, don't worry, it's completely different. When you have an accidental emission, whether it's while you're sleeping, whether it's while you're making love and you don't quite catch yourself on time, it's not as draining and it's not as creating so many patterns and habits in the subconscious mind as it is when you're doing it intentionally. If it's a mistake, it's okay. You know, forgive yourself. Love yourself, give love to your genitals, give love to your sexual energy, give love to yourself for the beautiful being that you are, and focus on all the accomplishments that you've made. You know, if you make it 7 days and then it slips out, and oh, thank God I made it 7 days. Don't focus on that one slip. You always want to focus on what you want to achieve. So focus on the good rather than what you consider the bad. Shame and guilt are your worst enemies along this path. So drop it. Forget it. Be forgiving, be patient, realize it's a process. It might be something you've never done before, and be really patient with yourself through this process. This process can also bring some side effects, so both good and bad. For one, excess energy, as we said, can lead to, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? So when you have this extra energy, when you have this extra motivation, really this is when meditation is also going to benefit you, because be aware that you have this extra energy and you need to use it. If you like music, learn an instrument. If you like art, write poetry, write music, sing, dance, express yourself. Use this energy to benefit the world in some way. Show the world why you're here, this amazing, beautiful manifestation, this perfect creature that you are. Express it. This will be a beautiful way to use that extra energy and not allow it to, compress and contract you. When we do these yogic techniques, especially Uddiyana Bandha or the semen to Ojas Kriya, or different pranayama, we can experience different purification effects, such as headaches, rashes, nausea, constipation, psychological things like different emotions, anger, sadness. All of these things are natural and are a beautiful effect, because when we're experiencing these different side effects, these different purifications, it means that energy is moving. So we say thank you for that movement of energy, and have patience and have compassion if you're going through a difficult time, and try to really take responsibility and say, thank you for this anger, thank you for this sadness or this frustration, because I know that it means that I'm growing. Don't try to blame it on the other people. Don't create some story about it. If someone makes you upset, don't say, oh, it's because that's not going to serve you. Take responsibility and gratitude that you're growing, that you're progressing along this path. Another side effect that can be very common in the beginning is blue balls. This pain around the pubic area when we've accumulated too much energy. Maybe we've been intimate in some way and we didn't emit. Best thing you can do is massage this area, just some kind of circular movements around the pelvis. You can place a warm towel there to relieve the tension. You can practice Uddiyana Bandha. Once you get to the point of blue balls, it might be a little bit painful. So just a massage, some warmth, maybe a warm bath. And it's not going to recur that many times, honestly. Maybe you might experience this 2 or 3 times, and then usually the body figures out how to disperse that energy on its own without emitting. But the first few times it can be quite discouraging. You think, oh my God, I'm in so much pain. Why am I doing this? It will pass. It's a natural part of this process. So another question I get a lot is about the long-term effects of semen retention. If I don't use it, am I going to lose it? If by retaining for so long, is it going to stop working? Or am I going to have problems to have children later on? Now, I haven't seen conclusive evidence in either way. I have heard testimonials that some men, after holding for a number of years, have struggled. So what I recommend, and I've heard that the Chinese emperors used to do this, is if you want to have children in the future, and this is one of your plans, is that every 100th time that you're engaging in sexual activity, you release. So 100 times. It might be every 100 days, might be every 50 days if you're very active, or it might be one time per year. But if every 100 times that you're engaging in some sort of activity, you release it, for sure you make sure that the pipes are still working, that everything is flowing, and you're also overall containing your energy the whole time. If you are practicing retention and it comes time that you want to have children and you want to go down this path, make sure that you release at least 2 times before you try to get someone pregnant, because you want to make sure that this is fresh. If it's been sitting in there for a couple months, you want to get rid of it, flush it out twice, and then it will be nice and fresh and vital to make a child with. So that's a big recommendation if you are going down that path of the family life. Ojas, what is it? So the Ojas is a word to describe the kind of limited life force that we're born with. This Kriya, the semen, converting semen into Ojas, is not appropriately named. It's Yogi Bhajan's name, it's not my name. I just put it because it's correct to do, I believe. But the idea is that Ojas is what you're born with. You're born with a certain amount of energy, and once that energy is used up, that's when your life finishes. And it said that the way that the man loses his energy the most is through ejaculation. So this is one of the reasons why we want to retain that energy, because when we retain that energy, we retain our ojas, and then our skin is shiny, our eyes are bright, and we stay more youthful into old age. The way that the woman releases her ojas the most is through childbirth. And I'm sure any woman that's had a child can testify after this. You feel quite low energy. You can go through a lot of mood swings and feel depressed. Anyway, it's not something that I'm very educated on, but I'll just say that's the big one for the woman. She's not doing that nearly as often as some of us are ejaculating. But if you're old and you've been, releasing your whole life, don't worry. You can always gain the benefits of this. And if you've never practiced before, even if you hold for 10 days, you will see a drastic change in your life. Much more energy, much more confidence, much more drive in life. It only takes 10 days to really start to feel these big changes. So anyone who's made it past 10 days, I'm sure you can say, if you have, let people know in the comments below. Let's motivate each other. What's your experiences? How long have you been doing this for? And what other recommendations you can give to other guys on this path. And it's been a lot of talk about guys so far in this video because we're talking about holding semen. But for the women as well, you don't have semen, but these yogic practices will benefit you a lot too. Things like Uddiyana Bandha, check out the Raise Your Vibration Challenge, even this semen to Ojas Kriya, or any of these practices that are moving the sexual energy as well are helping you as well, because there is still, even women can get a big buildup of energy here and start to get controlled by their impulses and their urges and lost in fantasy and imagination, and sometimes that can go in an uncomfortable direction. So learning to move this energy and disperse it can help you as well to release this excess energy, this kind of obsessive mind state, can help you as well to tap into higher states of consciousness as we move this energy into the different chakras and experience states of expansion. So it's not only, these practices are not only for women. You can benefit a lot, so these practices are not only for men, women can also benefit a lot from them. So in conclusion, my recommendations for anyone wanting to walk down this path is, number one, be patient. Be determined and dedicated, but also be gentle and forgiving with yourself. Honestly, guilt and shame are going to be your number one worst enemies in this. Focus on the good, what you want to achieve, rather than the bad, what you don't want, in everything in life. But really focusing on your accomplishments and the benefits, the good energies that you're receiving. This is going to help you to progress much faster. As you start to build this energy, use it. Be active, be creative, be inventive, work, accomplish, do something with this energy to benefit your life or benefit the lives of those around you. Study, learn, grow, because using this energy will be the best way to use this energy. In terms of yoga practice, doing any yoga will help you. Learning to move this energy, learning to develop awareness of your body. So really, Uddiyana Bandha is the best one for the beginners, but any yogic practice will help you, and especially any meditation practice will help you not only to catch yourself before you release, but to realize your progress. You know, you can also check in with someone, you know, have a support buddy, or there's groups on Facebook or around where people are testifying and talking about their progress and their challenges. You know, to understand that you're not the only one going through this can already be hugely beneficial. And lastly, just do it. You don't need any special tips or tricks, or there's nothing that makes it more easy. It's just about setting your mind. You know, set your mind, I want to do this. Set your intention. Why do you want to do this? And focus on the good. I want to do it to become more centered, more motivated, more determined. I want to become more compassionate, more giving, more loving. I want to be more helpful in this world. I want to serve. I want to grow. I want to evolve. Focus on why you want to do this, and that will make it so much more easier to stick to it. And of course, be patient, be forgiving, and be loving. I think that's all I have to say, guys. As usual, leave some whatever questions you might have. Let other people know where you are on your journey. Support each other, and make sure you like this video. If you didn't see any ads on this video, it means that we got demonetized. So go watch another video like that one, just so that we get the Refeel channel out there. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. I really hope it serves you. Good luck on your journey, everyone. Namaste. I don't have the microphone. So today we're going to talk about SEX.